Hi. So I'm going to talk about function maturity. Okay. So where's the book? Here it is. So yeah, I'm still in the middle of psychological types. Let's see. Here we go. Why does it look backwards? Oh no! The book looks backwards for some reason. I guess I'm mirrored. All right. Uh, um. So yeah. So I'm still in the middle. So Jung talks about the maturity of functions a lot. He never makes like a general statement of the, well, not that I've seen yet or anywhere, but he talks about it specifically every time. So I abstracted a general statement from all of his specific mentions of it. So basically what he's saying is your main function, always he says it's more mature, and he always says that the lower functions are less mature, right? And it makes sense that your lead function is used more and it's matured more, and then the less used functions are less mature and more childlike, right? And he talks a little bit about how they're childlike, so I'm also abstracting what childlike is, but the general principle is that a more mature function is able to take care of the childlike functions. So just an example for myself, so my TI, for example, is my more mature function because I use it the most, or at least one of the most. And my FE is really childlike. Okay, and so what does that mean? Is that it'll throw a tantrum when it doesn't get what it wants, right? So my TI is always trying to give my FE what it wants. Otherwise, it'll throw a tantrum and get upset, right? And just a little bit about maturity, what maturity is. Okay, so mat- maturity. I'll give an example. My daughter Meora. Okay, where is she? Meora, come! I want to talk about your cats. So she found some cats. Well, one of her neighbors had a little kitten, and they were all over the little kitten. Come, here, go around this way. They were all over this little kitten. This is Meora. She's 8. And so they were all over this little kitten, and the kitten and Meora really liked this little kitten that the neighbor had, right? And we told her, no, you can't touch kittens that belong to other cats. And she didn't listen. She also wanted some kittens. She wanted to play with some kittens, and she didn't understand. She was a little bit younger. I think she was 7. And so she picked up these kittens, right? Yeah. And then she brought them home, and we were stuck taking care of these kittens. She didn't understand that if you play with the kittens, the mother won't want them back. And the mother didn't. The mother tries to attack them when we tried to give the kittens back. So we were stuck with these kittens, and in the end, both kittens died, and you were really sad, and we had to bury them. They both got run over by a car, right? And
No, one is.
Doesn't matter. They're both dead. and so from this, you learned that it's not always good to take care of things, right? You can't always take care of something. Sometimes you have to let things take care of themselves, right? Right. And so this was a good lesson for you, because also, like, if you would have listened to me, what would happen if you listened to me? You would have been young and immature. And the fact that you didn't listen to me, the fact that you went off and you got kittens anyways, you didn't believe me, and now you learned the hard way, so now you've matured, right? Yeah. Okay, you can go. Give me a kiss. Okay. So yeah, so the idea is teach a man to fish, right? He'll be able to fish on his own, sort of thing. So another example, my grandparents are from a different generation. My mother was really young. They were really old parents. So my grandfather was a soldier in World War II, and when they were married a long time, and my grandfather never really had to do anything around the house. He never really had to cook or anything. So he didn't even know how to open a can. So when my grandmother died, he went 2 days without eating until he was like 85 years old. He went 2 days without eating until a neighbor came over and helped and opened a can for him. And he would like tell us, yeah, I ate today. The neighbor came to open the can. He didn't even know how to open a can, right? That's the generation. But it's the same thing. Like the immature function is immature only because the other functions are taking care of it. They're catering to it. And if they don't, it'll throw this big tantrum. So these other functions need to come out and cater to it in order to placate it, in order to make it happy, right? So my FE is just living in my TI's basement, in my parent TI's basement. It's more mature, and it's just this immature little thing living in the basement, getting everything being done for it, right? Like, I mean, okay, another example. So say there was like this beer fetching robot, okay? And you never actually had to get up off your couch when you wanted a beer. You'd just be like, hey, robot, bring me a beer. And it would come and it would bring you a beer, right? So you would never, ever learn how to get your own beer other than you never get up off your ass and get a beer. Like you would become dependent on this process, right? So it's the same thing. This FE is dependent on the TI for the TI to get it what it wants, okay? And when it doesn't get what it wants, it throws a tantrum and it blows up and it explodes and all that. And the TI, like as a parent, you're doing a disservice. You're doing something bad if your a function is misbehaving, right? If it's calling attention to itself and it wants you to do something for it all the time, and you're always trying to placate it and always trying to, like, my TI is always trying to service my FE. It's like a slave to the FE in this case, because the FE doesn't know how to do anything for itself. And the way to teach it how to do things for itself is to stop doing things for it. That's it. You just have to stop catering it to it and let it do things for itself. Let it learn. And it'll throw tantrums and it'll get upset. And you just need to be like, okay, I understand. I hear you. But you need to grow. You need to grow up. You need to get things for yourself. You need to, yeah. And so my TI, I have to teach my TI how to stop smothering my FE so that it can grow and develop on its own. So yeah, I just wanted to share that with you from the book. So yeah, I'm like I said, I'm reading the book, and Jung is talking a lot about these immature functions. And so as a general rule, the function on the higher on your stack, the more that it's used, the more major the function is, the more mature it'll be, and the more it will do for others. That's a symbol of maturity. But really, in the end, you want to teach these things to be independent. You don't want them to be dependent on your TI or whatever your major function is. Okay? So have a good one. Bye.